Hey there folks, it is me, RandomJosh, and I'm back again with another Random Monday video. Today you can see we're a little bit of a different kind of angle, position. I wanted to kind of talk to you about a little something that's in this vicinity. I might need to turn you around just a little bit more. Just wanted to actually start with myself in frame for a sec. So it is actually this lovely little device here, which is a Stream Deck. So I'm just going to quickly head back to there you go. Now, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, so I might have to angle the camera ever so slightly. I'm actually going to just bring you in. So currently with mine, I've got this lovely screensaver set up. If my computer is actually locked, it goes to a different screensaver as well there, which you can see. You can get animated screensavers and all of that kind of good stuff, which is really cool, which I've loved. But yeah, you can see here, one of the things is, so I've got this set as just a basic screensaver that I've made myself. It's more just like the default homepage, so when I'm not on any particular apps. One thing that you can do is set up what is called smart profiles. So what smart profiles do is, if I, for instance, here in the background, you can see I'm on OBS. So I'm actually going to just open up Spotify, and what you notice, it says it's not connected. There we go, they're come back now. So it's actually got the different Spotify setup profile that I've kind of chosen to get into, I guess. So yeah, it's got a lot of different kind of features. So one of the things I've put in for Spotify is just the general play, pause, go back, skip to the next song, lower the volume, up the volume, just as a generic. So when I'm on there, I mean, I have a lot of the buttons here on my keyboard, but just as something extra, you know, you might want a little bit of funky doriness. So, and each of them I've also put home buttons, so if I'm ever there, I can jump back across. So you can also use this to actually open up applications. So there you can see I've just opened up my Steam, so that has actually opened up straight away, which is nice. But I've got it for Dixper and OBS as well, just so that whenever I'm using those particular apps for like my gaming and whatever else I need to do, I can just open them directly from here rather than having to like click through and find all the details and stuff. It just makes it easier to click buttons, bish bash bosh, done. Another fun thing is that you've got games on here. So I've just put on a couple of the games. I have tried these out, they're a little bit weird and don't always function straight away. But this is apparently Minesweeper. If it wants to load, okay, it didn't want to load then. Let me try that again. There we go. So we've got, I'm gonna try and zoom you in a little bit more. I can't really get you any closer at this point. But yeah, just a little Minesweeper. Press the button, it tells you how many are close. So if that's got 2, if that's got 3, that's those 3. That one's fine. That one's fine. That one's fine. Oh, I'm so good at this game. Brilliant. Okay. 3. Probably. Oh fuck! Nearly pressed the wrong one. Could be either of these 2. But the fact that that's only 1 makes me think it's. I don't know. It still could be either of them. Just gonna go up there. There's 2 there, so that's definitely got to be one of them. Let's go there. Just gonna go in all the weird places. Oh, this is so risky. Oh my gosh, have I nearly done it? I've never got this far before, by the way. Sorry, I'm getting a bit carried away. But yeah, you can see there, boom, oh, sad, exit, games. It's quite a fun little thing when you're bored. I also downloaded this little app, which is just a disco, so it kind of just flashes all the different colours. The way to get out of it is literally just to press any of the buttons and it will go out of it. I also popped in there, it's going to be really difficult to see some of these, so what I'm going to do as well is probably add in some footage of the screen in a different way, but there is actually my YouTube stats, which I find really quite cool. And again, all of these functions are easily programmable. They explain a lot of the details, which is really handy. Okay, so we are on the Stream Deck screen here. As you can see, this is the screensaver I mentioned. So all of these are basically just pretty much hotkeys. I'm not actually assigned any hotkeys. I just wanted them basically there so I could actually put in the little icons. And you can actually create these on the, where is it? Yeah. So this takes you to a key creator website where you can either create your own like individual keys. So they have a library of like preset pieces here that you can kind of like adapt to the way that you wish for them to look, or just add in pieces basically. Yeah, and you can really make them your own, or you can go to wallpaper mode, which is where you can set the type of stream you have. So I've got an XL. You can see here if we wanted this to be what the wallpaper looks like, it will split the keys out and remove all that kind of like blank space between them, so it actually doesn't stretch or like go all crazy, which is why annoyingly half my features have gone missing in both of them. But I think it's really cool. And then I've set this one to a switch profile, which goes to my default profile, which showcases a couple of the different pieces that we've got here. So we've got a folder for those YouTube stats I mentioned before. Basically, we've got a subscriber count, we've got a view count, and we've also got a video count for both. So we can see like what we're working with both of my channels. I thought that was just a fun little add-on that they basically put in here. So you can just, yeah, basically added them in, and then you've just got to add your little details in the bottom there. That's how easy it is really to actually add different pieces in. The light switch, so that's the toggle that connects with my particular lights. If you have other kind of network-based things, so like Nest or Google Home, things like that, then you can also connect a lot of those bits as well, which I find really interesting. These are my switch profile buttons so that I can just jump between some of the different profiles I've already got set up. Again, I'm going to leave them there like at the bottom. And then I have my opens. This is where it opens up the actual applications that we've got, so that we can use them basically. That's that disco one. I haven't actually looked into half of these pieces, which is interesting. So maybe there's some different ones, which is quite interesting. So I might need to actually delve into that and look at the ins and outs. But what it does is it does create the extra profile here. And that's what it looks like normally. But obviously these just, they've got it coded so that it changes them all up. And then yeah, the games, where are the games on here? They are by Bar Raider. There's a lot of different ones. You've got things like Simon Says, so again we can just whack that in there. Basically just press Stream Deck to start playing it. Loads of things like this. Like there's literally untold amounts that you can throw in here. And it's just that easy. And then again, like I said, we've got our Spotify as well, so you can see some of the different pieces that we can use. It does actually, as you can see here, our album art mode stretch it actually puts the album art on this key when it's playing a certain song, which I think is quite interesting. I don't know why, but it is. What else have we got here? So if we go over to OBS, it's not going to work. To go through this way. This is where I have all my bits that I use for streaming. So the likes of the general recording, my pause, changing between some of the different scenes, just to make that really like that transition smoother. Audio pieces, and then my call to action, which I have at the end, so that little subscribe button pop up that thumbs up. I like to have that there just to make it easier. The soundboard, these are really easy to add. You literally just, these are files I've got on my PC locally, and you can just add them in. You can actually get other applications which have things like soundboards here, so you can get it to, I'm pretty sure, yeah, they've got a store filled with things like sound effects, different music as well, so if you wanted like to play background music at some point and have it loop, you could add that in as a little thing. Again, you've got the icons. You can get specifically like designed icon presets that like some people may have created and put on the store. These are all free, by the way, so but then you've also got, of course, as well, your plugins. So these are kind of like the bits that can integrate with other applications, other bits of equipment as well. So like the Corsair IQ, you can control some of those pieces there. You can have shadow play, so controlling that through the Stream Deck. There's just so many things here. Like literally, it's hard to count it all. But no, amazing kind of features there that you can really get into, which I love personally. Also got the voice modulators. This is just an extra add-on that I went and got through Voice Mod, so I can change and hear back my voice if I needed to. This is a test piece, like I wanted to see how Dixbill would work, so you can enable the skills with that. So if I click, so that it's going to work for me. There we go, so it's now on, and then I can switch it off as well so that Dixbill doesn't start going crazy on me. Scenes, these are just some of the different ones that I've got at the moment. Again, just so I can switch through them without having to go through the general OBS way of doing it. And then the light strip as well. So you can, again, I can completely customize what colors I want to add in. There's so many layers of what you can actually do with this. And again, like this multi-action one, it's really quite cool how to actually implement this. So basically you've got this here, and then you bob it in. Then, let's say you wanted to play an audio, then you want to visit a website, then you want to send a tweet, and then you could literally just have this do everything. And then if you wanted, let's say, delays in between, you come in here and you can say like delay for however many seconds. I mean, this works out in milliseconds. If I'm correct, 1,000 milliseconds is just 1 second. So yeah, you can basically just completely create like almost, it's like a coding exercise almost. So it's not quite at that coding level, but it is. Yeah, there's just so much that you can do, really. So yeah, I mentioned briefly as well about the smart profiles. So what that means is when you're creating these particular profiles, let's say for instance, I've got my Spotify profile, which opens up the Spotify features. I can basically just come in here and set which application should be running
for that to kind of open up. You can also set your defaults. This is the one when you haven't got an application specific profile open. Like if I haven't got OBS running, it will just jump straight back to this, which sometimes can be a little bit of a pain, but it does have sometimes.
One of the other features, so there are multiple other things I've added into this. Again, probably will do that separately, but or I may have already gone through it. We don't know. But the other part that I wanted to really get onto was the light strip. I have not set this up properly. I've put it up here. It's just kind of loosely dangling around the area. But as soon as I'm prepared, I will actually stick it to it. I'm very indecisive I should say, about this all. But yeah, it connects to it. And there you have light. We have a LED light. I can choose different colours, which is fun. The only downfall that I keep seeing is that you can only really obviously go from one colour to another, but that's again away from the actual key of this, which is Stream Deck. That's actually the Elgato light strip, so I'm kind of showing off two products at the same time for this little piece. But yeah, it's really cool. And you can set up as well multi-action, so prepare yourselves for this. I'm hoping that this isn't too loud. But I've set this up because of that fact that you can make the lights kind of change colour. I did one myself. So there we have it. It goes through a kind of rainbow transition, very static kind of transition of the colours, but it just kind of shows there is possibilities of making things work for you. It's just, a lot of it is time consuming, I'll be honest. Sitting down and actually going through all the different things. So I've put in there voice mods, I've got a soundboard, you know, work. Hello. And yeah, there's so many things you can just sit down and program, but it's just finding the time and figuring out exactly what you actually want the end result to be. I personally love it. So I've got the XL version. So this has 32 keys, I believe. Obviously you can get ones that are smaller, but I just wanted the big one. Probably don't have the full scope and need of a big one. But I mean, why not? Go big, why fucking not? But yeah, so overall thoughts and feelings of the Stream Deck. I think personally for me, as someone who doesn't stream really anymore, but I do my gaming videos, so I use a lot of software such as OBS and things like that, so it definitely has its benefits, and it helps me kind of do some of the actions I was having to sometimes sit there, especially with gaming. So when you're gaming and trying to either film or stream via OBS, it's so easy for you to kind of sit there and when you're on a game, sometimes the game is what you want to capture, and if you want to transition or do something, you have to then click off, which then screws with the other situations. It's just a bloody mess sometimes, which I used to have with the Lego Star Wars videos I was doing. I'd have to physically close the game down in order to actually transition back to the chatting screen, but then doing so, and I was having to desktop capture, you'd get a clip of my entire desktop, and I was like, that's really not, you know, what I want. So that, it does give good benefits from that perspective. From streaming, I'd say there's probably a lot more items that are probably really good. So like you can set it to tweet for you. You can set it to post notifications out there for people. So like if you're, let's say, going live with sorry, going live with a stream, you can just do an automatic tweet that kind of just says, hey, I'm going live, come join. Like something basic. It will be, you know, not as customizing. Well, you can customize it to however you want it to be, but what I mean is every time you press that button, it's going to be that same message unless you change it each time in your Stream Deck settings. So things like that can be really helpful. You've also got, obviously, like a lot of people when they stream, they want things like I've got set up there, soundboards, voice modulators. That can all kind of come into play with this, which is really helpful. So you can just actually adjust everything while you're actually just like midway through doing it, rather than having to, again, like I say, come out of what you're doing, find the application, fiddle with things, and basically just create havoc. But yeah, no, I'm still learning some of the different applications that are on there. So I know there are a lot, and well, it's limited in certain areas, but there's also still quite a lot to learn with it. And especially when it comes to like the multi-action feature, that's really quite helpful. So I mean, if you're a streamer, you could, let's for instance say, when like you can create a button which makes you go live first of all, so starts your streaming on, like, let's say a software like OBS. It then sends a tweet out to people, and then it posts on Facebook, and I don't know, it sets you to the correct profile and correct like starting screen. You can have all of that done in one button click, so that's fucking helpful to a lot of us, I'm sure. But yeah, there's definitely like a plethora of pieces. It just, the biggest con that I have with it is just time. It takes a lot of time to get used to it. You then have to obviously program all of the bits individually, and especially if you want like customized icons and things like that, there are loads out there, and they offer a lot. Like you can download them from like their Stream Deck store basically. So this is where you can get like the applications, you can get the icons and stuff, but changing out them can take quite a second. It's almost like, you know, like on your phone you've got your home pages set up and you've got all your apps in their specific places. Imagine trying to basically reconfigure a whole new aesthetic, so like changing everything basically. It's a lot of effort. It takes time, and especially like for some of the functionality, it takes time to learn what it does and figure out how to make it really work for you. So it's, as long as you've got the ability to actually put in the time and effort, you can really gain a lot from it. However, if you're not it still has good functionality even if you don't put in maximum effort. Like I've not put in a lot of effort with mine, and it does what I need it to do. It looks really sparse, which annoys me sometimes. Like some of the pages I open and I'm like, oh my god, there's like nothing on there. But I'd rather have cases like that where things are just not populated at that moment, because I'm still learning what other functionality might actually come in handy for me. So maybe, you know, I'll play a game and, do you know what, something might come up and I think, oh, maybe I could add that in, and that becomes like an integrated part of the Stream Deck. But yeah, overall thoughts, I think it's cool. It is a bit of a pretty penny. I luckily, well, this was actually a Christmas present, but it was when it was on sale through Amazon, so I already knew that it was coming, so I helped them buy it. But yeah, overall I think it is, like I say, it's worth it, but as long as you're using it for the best reason for you, and that's the main thing. It's about what you want it for. So it is designed for streamers and things like that, but there are so many other functionalities that you can probably make use of it for. So if you're into kind of like creation of content of any sort of form, so like music, I'm sure there's like a load of things you can do with this for music as well, which is really awesome. I think it's 110% worth it. It's just interesting to kind of set up those hotkeys and make things, even just general use, like flow easier. But yeah, thank you so much for sticking tuned to today's video if you have made it this far. Hopefully I've made this somewhat enjoyable. Who knows at this point? But if you have enjoyed, then please do let me know down below. Click on that subscribe button. Join the family. Why not? More weird content, I'm sure, will be coming very soon. Yeah, thank you again, and I will see each and every one of you folks in the next video. Peace out, bitches.